Hey everyone, it's UnsungNPC, finally back with another class video. I know that it's been a while. We'll just say that life gets in the way. But we're here now, taking a look at the Barbarian. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to seeing the stuff on the Barbarian, even though it's one of my least favorite classes. So we are gonna dive in anyway, right? One of the first things to note here is that, yeah, Barbarians are pretty simple to play, very high damage, very high damage. They're really good damage characters and can even be kind of tanky depending on what archetype you choose and how you build them. And I think as far as the martial fighters go, they're pretty simple to build, to be honest. One thing I don't get is these couple points in control. I don't know how a Barbarian controls the battlefield other than just being in the way. If you have ideas about that, let me know in the comments, but I have no idea how that works. So, basic Barbarian, you have to be anything that's not lawful. Okay, so you can't be a lawful barbarian, those don't exist. You can be neutral, you can be chaotic, you can be good, you can be evil. Okay? You cannot be a lawful barbarian. Alright? It's kind of like the opposite of monk. So. Alright. So barbarians, they get light armor, medium armor, simple and martial weapons, and shields. Pretty standard, except no heavy armor, right? They start out with getting a plus 10 to their speed, which is nice, especially if you go medium armor barbarian, because then it just gives you the 10 plus speed. So there you go. Because medium armor usually decreases your speed, so you'll kind of negate that. And if you do light armor, that gives you up to like 40 speed, unless you're a dwarf. So very cool. Or any other small race, or yeah, any small race will give you 20 feet of speed, I believe. Doors will have 20 as well. Okay. Rage. Rage is the key barbarian feature here, okay? Rage is a ability that the barbarian gets to do equal to 4 times per day plus your constitution modifier, okay? And then you get additional rage rounds every level up, just kind of like you would get spells. So as a wizard, you get like a couple spells every level up. As a barbarian, you'll get 2 additional rounds of rage per level up. All right, and then you'll also get rage powers, and we'll get into those. Those are also very nice. So you can enter rage as a free action. It just goes, okay? While in rage, you get plus 2 to melee attacks, damage, thrown weapons, will saving throws, and then you take a -2 penalty to AC. That's a big kicker. -2 penalty to AC. Keep that in mind. You also gain 2 temporary hit points per hit die, which is basically per level. So, obviously temporary hit points are lost first, and they don't stack with any other source of temporary hit points. So keep that in mind. Temporary hit points never stack. You can only have one source of temporary hit points. Okay? So, while in rage, you cannot cast spells. Not every archetype can cast spells, but if you're a mythic path that has spells, or you multi-class, you cannot cast spells while in your rage, okay? So, whenever you're done, whenever the rage ends, you are fatigued for a minute. Only for a minute. So after that fatigue is gone, you're back to normal, you're totally fine, but you cannot rage while you're fatigued, okay? But you can use something like Lay on Hands to cure your fatigue, and then you're fine if you really need to rage that quickly between rages. Okay. Before we get into the rage powers, we'll go into these other abilities. So you get Danger Sense, which is +1 to reflex saves to avoid traps, and +1 to dodge bonus to AC against traps. And then it increases every few levels to eventually become +6. Okay. You also get damage reduction, okay? You get up to 5 damage reduction eventually. And it's just, anytime anyone deals damage to you from a weapon or a natural attack, you get damage reduction. It's just DR. There's no like exception or anything like that. Just you get up to 6 DR or 5 DR at level 19. Okay, uncanny dodge. So you cannot be caught flat-footed. Do not lose your dexterity to AC if the attacker is invisible. You do if you're still immobilized in any way, like paralyzed or something like that, but not if the person's just invisible. Okay? Improved uncanny dodge is you can no longer be flanked. Alright, so this defense denies another rogue the ability to sneak attack the character by flanking them. So you can't be sneaked on by invisible, and you can't be sneaked on by flanked, which is really nice, especially as a barbarian where like you have nice health, but your AC is not always going to be the best. That can be very, very nice to have. That way you can avoid those stronger attacks. And there's a lot of sneak attacking, especially from the Babo, however you pronounce them. The little red ones with the spears. They'll sneak you every time. But not you, barbarian. Not you. Okay, you also get Indomitable Will. So at 14th level, you gain +4 in will saves to resist enchantment spells. This is huge. The biggest issue for will saves is enchantment spells in this game and in most Pathfinder D&D games. There's lots of things that can affect will, but enchantment spells are by far the most dangerous, okay? Whether you're put to sleep, whether you're being charmed, whether you're being dominated, all of that type of stuff is enchantment. You don't want it to happen to you. Don't let it happen to you. So as you level up, your rage has different things happen to it. So at 11th level, all of your bonuses become +3, and then you get 3 hit points per hit die instead of 2. Okay? At 17th level, you no longer become fatigued at the end of your rage. That's a really nice one. That's a really nice ability. It's really late in the game that happens, but there's so many ways to cure fatigue that it doesn't even really matter. And then at 20th level, everything becomes +4, and then you get 4 hit points per hit die, temporary. Okay? And that's your basic barbarian. Okay, let's take a look at these rage powers. Alright, there is a feat called extra rage power where you can take that instead of another feat and then just gain more rage powers. This is pretty fun to do in my opinion. Whenever a class feature has a feat that allows you to take extra of that class feature, I always do that. Extra channel, extra rage power, extra bardic performance, anything like that, I'm here for it. It's my jam. Okay. Alright, we're gonna take a look at the rage powers now. So for the rage powers, you got the standalone rage powers and the totem rage powers. If you take a totem rage power, you can only go down that totem tree. So if you take Fiend, you cannot take Daemon, Celestial, or Beast. Okay, if you take Beast, you cannot take Celestial, Daemon, or Fiend. You can only pick one out of the 4 totem trees. So make sure the one that you like is the one that you want. So I would check out all the powers of all 3 things as you level up. That way you know what you're getting into. Now let's go through the solo rage powers. And then we will get into the totems. Alright. So the solo rage power, Animal Fury. Okay, it gives you a bite attack at -5 to its attack bonus and deals 1d4 points of damage if medium, 1d3 if small. I hate this ability. There's so many other ways to get bite attacks at full BAB or at 0 BAB instead of -5 or whatever. There's so many different ways to get bite attacks. Spells you can cast, spells people can cast on you, or being a certain race, or anything else other than wasting one of your rage powers on freaking Animal Fury. Alright, don't take Animal Fury. I am advising against it. Don't do it. You don't need it. It's a waste of time. Do not take it. Okay? Next, we've got Fearless Rage. Fearless Rage. The Barbarian is immune to shaken and frightened conditions. You have to be 12th level to take this. So this is one of the more advanced rages at 12th level, okay? This one's great. Shaken and frightened conditions, being able to be immune to that completely is awesome because Barbarians don't naturally get a lot of will except for Well and Rage and then the +4 that they get from Indomitable Will. But like, their fortitude is their biggest thing, right? So this one is a great one, especially considering how many creatures do tend to frighten and shaken people. It's not as many as it was in Kingmaker, but there's still some out there. And being immune to it, I think, is cool. You've got a lot of rage powers to pick from, one every other level, including any that you spend the feat extra rage power on. And I think Fearless could be a good choice. Okay. Okay. Guarded Stance. So Guarded Stance is a +1 dodge bonus to your AC. This bonus increases every 4 levels. Okay, this is a stance rage power. Whenever you have stances, you can only activate one at a time. You can take multiple stances if you want. You can only toggle one at a time. So that's something to keep in mind. I love Guarded Stance. +1 to AC, increases every 4 levels. Hell yeah. Give me the AC bonus. As a barbarian, I have pretty bad AC anyway, so just give it to me. There are arguments to be said that this isn't enough of an AC bonus to make Barbarian's AC good enough, so it's not worth the try when you could take the other stances for better attack bonus and stuff like that. And I do get that. I do get that. I see the argument there. I just personally like Guarded Stance, but I also like Lethal Stance, which we'll get into, so. Protect Vitals. Okay, this is an 8th level power. You get +4 dodge bonus to AC against attack rolls made to confirm critical hits. Pretty standard stuff. Reflexive Dodge. You can apply your dodge bonus to AC as a bonus on reflex saving throws. So if you have really good dex, you have a really good dodge bonus, you can add that to your reflex saving throws. You have to be 6th level to take this power. Pretty cool, pretty nice. I don't know if it's necessarily needed, but you have so many powers to choose from, or so many powers that you get, that if it vibes for you, then do it. Rolling Dodge. The Barbarian's dodge bonus to AC from Guarded Stance is doubled against ranged attacks while Guarded Stance is active. And then you have to be at least 6th level. So this makes Guarded Stance, in my opinion, even better, because the bonuses from ranged attacks is huge. There are so many ranged attacks in this game. People will mess you up. So I like that. I like that a lot. Increased damage reduction. It increases your DR by 2. And you can take it 3 times, which gives you 6 more DR, which makes you DR 11 on top of whatever DR you have from other sources. And you have to be 8th level to take this. I take all 3 of these. DR is just great to have. It's just great to have. There's no reason not to take damage reduction if it's an option. I take all 3 stacks of this. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Alright. Internal Fortitude. You're immune to sicken and nauseated. Must be at least 8th level. This one really isn't that big of a deal after recapturing Dresden. Because when you recapture Dresden, there's a lot of Stinking Cloud spells being cast. But after that, you don't really run into anything that makes you that sickened or nauseated again. So I don't know if it's really worth taking this one. Alright. We've got Deadly Accuracy. If a Barbarian scores a critical hit, while in Lethal Stance, she applies double the Lethal Stance's bonus when rolling to confirm the critical hit. You have to have Lethal Stance and be at least 4th level to take this. Lethal Stance is +1 to attack rolls and thrown weapon attack rolls. And this increases by 1 every 4 levels as well, just like Guarded Stance. This one's a great power to have. Getting these attack rolls is awesome, especially to offset any power attacking that you're doing as a barbarian, which you probably are. So, good. Then we have Lethal Accuracy. While in Lethal Stance, the barbarian's critical multiplier for damage increases by 1. So times 2 becomes times 3 to times 4, and so on. You have to be 16th level to take this. If you take Lethal Stance and Deadly Accuracy, take Lethal Accuracy, increasing the multiplier for critical hits by 1 is huge. That's a huge bonus. That's exponentially increasing your damage output for critical hits. Do it. Take it. It's a good thing. It's a very good power. Alright. Inspire ferocity. While in the reckless stance, the barbarian imparts the stance bonus and penalty to all willing allies within 30 feet. Okay, that's cool. So reckless stance is you gain +1 to attack rolls and -1 to AC. This bonus and penalty increase out by 1 every 4 levels. Now what I don't get is why you would take reckless stance when lethal stance gives you a bonus to attack roll. Anyway, I guess this one's all attack rolls and the other one is melee and throwing weapon only, but like, who's a ranged barbarian? Why are you using a bow? Who are you? No, I don't know about this one. I never understood it. I never really understood it, and I never took it. But I guess Inspire Ferocity is kind of cool, giving everyone bonus to attack roll, but there's so many spells that do that, and would you really want to do that and give everyone penalties to AC at the same time? That just sounds awful. I'm not about that one, I don't think. Renewed Vigor is kind of nice. Heals 1d8 plus Constitution modifier. For every 4 levels the barbarian has beyond 4th, the amount healed increases by a d8. You have to be 4th level to take this. I like this one. It's just a nice little innate heal ability that you get. I don't see why you wouldn't want to take it. If you have the space for it, if you have enough room in your powers list for this, I would say go ahead and take it. Take as many heals as you can, no matter what sources they come from. Okay? Scent. Okay, the barbarian gains the scent ability while raging and can use this ability to locate unseen foes. Okay, so you can detect people with scent as if you had blind sense. That's kind of interesting. I don't think that's necessary in this game, but it's a cool power. And then Swift Foot, giving you a 10 enhancement speed to 10 foot enhancement speed. So always a nice one to have. I don't know about it though. I like my barbarian being kind of slow because I want the tank to go first, right? So it's a matter of how you want to build it. You can take this one, you cannot take it. Okay. Now we're gonna go through these blows. So powerful stance. +1 bonus to melee damage rolls and thrown weapon damage rolls. Okay, so increases by 1 for every 4 levels. So this is just damage increase, which is really cool. Okay. Crippling blows, alright, is where every first successful melee attack in a round applies a -1 penalty on attack rolls and fortitude saving throws for 1 round. This penalty increases by 1 point, and the duration increases by 1 round for every 4 levels the barbarian has beyond 8. Barbarian must have powerful stance and be 8th level. Okay, so yeah, you're just giving them penalties on attack rolls and fortitude saving throws as you're hitting them using powerful stance, which I think is a really nice ability because demons have stacked fortitude saves. So if you can whittle those down, it can offer you a whole other like way of getting rid of demons or controlling demons and things like that. Wrecking blows. Alright, they deal additional weapons, do additional damage to equal to your Constitution modifier. Your bonus increases by 1 for every 4 levels and has beyond 12. This damage bypasses damage reduction, but doesn't multiply on critical hits. That's still really good. There's a lot of damage reduction in this game. Bypass it at any opportunity you get. Okay? It has to be 12th level to take this. That's a cool power. This is a cool stance tree as well. I think this one and the lethal stance one are probably the 2 best ones. Guarded stance is great if you're being a tankier barbarian, for sure, if you're building that way. Okay. Now we're gonna take a look at these totems. Totems, okay? Beast Totem. +1 natural armor bonus. This increases by 1 every 4 levels, as with everything else in this freaking class. Okay, you get natural armor bonus. Swell. Good for a nice tanky barbarian. But Beast Totem Lesser. Actually, this might be the... I think this is the first one. And then you get natural armor. I think it was Lesser, Regular, Greater, right? So lesser is you get 2 claw attacks, you get full base attack bonus, and they deal 1d6, 1d4 if you're small, plus a strength modifier. That's actually really cool. You just get 2 more natural attacks at full base attack. Take that, Animal Fury. Beast Totem lesser is the better way to go. Then you get the natural armor bonus. And then you gain Pounce, allowing you to make a full attack at the end of a charge. In addition, the damage from your claws increases to d8, 1d6 if you're small, and deal 3 times damage on a critical hit. Okay, so you get Pounce, which means instead of charging and doing 1 attack, you charge and you do all of your attacks that you would normally make in a round, which is an awesome ability. So I kind of like Beast Totem. Beast Totem is really good for just straight damaging, because you're getting 2 claws that do significant damage, and you can pounce when you charge. So you're just like die, 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 like just aggressive. I love it. I love it. Celestial Lesser. Whenever you're subject to a spell or a non-spell healing effect that cures hit point damage, you deal 1 additional point of damage. So just better healing. Just better healing. Does not affect fast healing. So this doesn't apply to fast healing. Only instant one-time spells or effects. Okay? While raging, this effect bestows upon the barbarian a halo of gleaming light that shines as if it were daylight and triggers an invisibility purge effect. Okay. So any creature that's not good can get their invisibility purged. That's a pretty cool ability. I kind of like that. I feel like Celestial Totem, Angel Mythic Path would be kind of dope to combine. It'd be really interesting to see. Then you gain spell resistance equal to 11 plus your level. And you gain 2 on all saving throws against spells and effects from evil creatures. So this one's great because of the stuff it does to evil creatures, right? Because all we fight here is freaking evil creatures. Sometimes just neutral, but mostly evil. So that's actually pretty cool. I like Celestial Totem a lot. I like Celestial Totem. Adds some utility to the barbarian that doesn't normally get, which I think is nice. Okay, Daemon. +2 saving throws against acid and death effects, disease, and poison. That's always really nice. Okay, there's lots of death effects, lots of disease and poison in this game. Getting +2 against that is not going to hurt. Okay, melee attacks impose a temporary negative level on your opponent on a successful critical hit. Ooh, that's cool. So if you get enough crits, you can really whittle someone down, affecting all of their stats. That's really cool. You're just draining their energy as they go. And then whenever the barbarian kills a living creature with CR equal to at least half your character level while raging, you heal 5 hit points. If she's already at her maximum hit points, she instead gains 5 temporary hit points, which don't stack if they kill multiple creatures, obviously, because they can't stack temporary hit points. Okay, that's cool. So if you take out all the mini demons, so this one's great for taking out all of the mini demons and the big ones with the like negative energy smacks, but then go and fight the little tiny demons for that health bump to heal yourself up. Just kind of like, oh man, think about if you cleaved. If you did this with cleave and you just killed them all, then that's just like 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 healing. Like, oh man, that's awesome. I like that a lot. Lesser Fiend. Okay. You gain a large pair of horns, gaining a gore attack. It's made at full base attack bonus. Okay, so it acts as a primary attack at full base attack bonus if you don't have weapons. If you also attacking with weapons, it becomes a secondary attack at -5. It deals 1d8 piercing damage, plus the barbarian's strength modifier, or half if it's a secondary attack. Okay? Barbarian sprouts dozens of wicked barbs. Anyone striking the barbarian with a melee weapon or unarmed strike or natural weapon takes 1d6 points of piercing damage. That's kind of fun. That's a good, like, low AC, just pure damage type barbarian there. Okay? surrounded by an aura of menace. Good creatures adjacent to the barbarian are shaken and take 2d6 points of slashing damage at the beginning of the barbarian's turn. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I don't think Fiend Totem is the totem for you going up against evil creatures most of the time. I don't know about, I think this one's probably the weakest totem on here. I think Celestial's great for utility. I think in pure damage aspects, I think Beast trumps Daemon a little bit, but both are pretty solid. So I would throw Fiend out the window, is what I would do. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. No. Okay. Now, we're going to take a look at these archetypes, all right? First, we've got the Armored Hulk. Okay, I think Hulkbuster from the Avengers. All right, so you get heavy armor proficiency. Duh. What kind of armored Hulk can't wear heavy armor? Excuse me. Instead of Danger Sense, you get Resilience of Steel. While wearing heavy armor, you gain +1 to AC that applies on critical hit confirmation rolls, and this increases the same way that Danger Sense would. So that's pretty cool. Bonus AC to against critical hit confirmation is always really nice. You lose the 10 feet speed and gain +1 on combat maneuver checks and to combat maneuver defense, and on reflex saves against trample attacks. You also gain +1 bonus to AC. Against charged attacks and on attack and damage rolls against charging creatures. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of like a hold the line type thing. I only fought one creature in this whole game that had trample. So take that with you as you will. But if you want to focus on combat maneuver stuff at all, this one's a pretty solid choice. Armored Swiftness, you move 5 feet faster than normal in medium and heavy armor. And then you move 10 feet faster than normal to a maximum of your normal base speed. So normally you would take a penalty, right, to your movement because of wearing this armor, but this brings it back up. Now, this would be useless on a dwarf because a dwarf doesn't take penalties from wearing armor, and this doesn't allow you to go past your base speed, your innate speed. So unless you took like the swiftness rage power, which still wouldn't really change anything even, not even that. This just isn't going to do anything for you if you're a dwarf. Just keep that in mind, okay? But yeah, that's the Armored Hulk, just armor stuff. Armor. Very good tanky. You still get the damage reduction, which is really nice as well. I can see these being really effective tanks in the line of battle. Okay, Beast Kin Berserker. I played around with this one a little bit, and I quite enjoyed it. You give up some rage powers and your 10 feet fast movement because you get Savage Rapport, so you get to add half your level to Lore, Nature, and Persuasion skill checks when used to Intimidate, which is really cool. You then get Feral Transformation, where you turn into a medium wolf, okay? Then you get medium leopard, and then you get large bear. And these are actually really, really fun to play with. I gave this class to multi-class with Wenduag on one of my playthroughs, and it was a lot of fun. I loved turning her into an animal and then raging and fighting, and I thought that was a freaking blast. I gave her throwing weapons for ranged attacks, and then anytime she needed to go melee, I was like, just transform, and then she transformed and then went at it. And I can only imagine that it's way better on a strength-based character since she's more of a dex-based character. But really, really cool. Really, really cool. You're just giving up a couple rage powers. I'm wondering if these would stack with your beast totem, any totem powers. Like, can you transform and then also gain the effects that your beast totem does while raging, so getting more natural attacks. That's something I would want to know. If anyone knows the answer to that, let me know in the comments. I would love to know that answer. If someone does answer me on that question, I will pin it so everyone can see. But that would be really cool. Really pairs well with Beast Totem if that's the case. Instinctual Warrior. This one I thought was really interesting. Really, really interesting. It changes the whole core of Barbarian and makes it to where they're like wisdom based instead of constitution based. So it's focused rage. So everything's pretty much the same except that you do +4 plus your wisdom modifier instead, which is interesting. You get +2 bonus on attack rolls and wisdom, and then temporary hit points. So no strength bonus, and you don't get the penalty to AC. So weird. You get all simple and martial weapons and shields. Instinctual Warrior adds wisdom bonus to initiative checks. So you don't get armor proficiency. Okay. Cunning Illusion. Instinctual Warrior adds wisdom bonus to AC and CMD. In addition, an Instinctual Warrior gains +1 to AC and CMD at 4th level and then increases as you go. That's crazy. And then you lose rage powers and you get Instinctual Warrior rage powers. Oh, you just become a monk. You're a monk barbarian. So all that happens is that you add Purity of Body and then Key Power, Perfect Self, Diamond Soul, and Diamond Body, and Deflect Arrows as options for rage powers. That's so cool. That's so cool. Okay, so Purity of Body, immunity to all diseases. Perfect Self gives you damage reduction 10 exception chaotic, which allows you to ignore 10 points of damage from any attacks made by a non-chaotic. That's not very useful here. Everyone's freaking chaotic here. Not very good. Spell resistance, level +10, which is cool. And then Diamond Body, immunity to all poisons. And the Deflect Arrows is just always great to have. Interesting. Very interesting. And then you get Greater Blind Fight. You just skip Blind Fight. No. Blind Fight. Sorry. It's up here. Hello. So you get Blind Fight, which is awesome. And then Improved, and then Greater. I've gone over these in the feats video, but Blind Fight is great feats to have. Greater Focus Rage. Everything increases to +3. No longer becomes fatigued. Extremely developed 6th sense of the Instinctual Warrior allows him to have blind sense to a range of 30 feet. That's awesome. And then +4. Okay, you know what? I've been looking to play a game off stream, and I might do an Instinctual Warrior Barbarian because this is freaking awesome. I don't know if I will for sure, but this looks awesome. You do lose your damage reduction as well, but man, I like this a lot. It changes the whole core of what the Barbarian does, which is so cool. Very cool. Barbarian Monk. Love it. Invulnerable Rager. You lose danger sense and you gain extreme endurance. And your damage reduction becomes every other level rather than up to 5 in every few levels. It's just up to 10 every other level. And then grabbing those 3 from your rage powers can give you 16 damage reduction. 16! That's so much damage reduction. Oh, it's so good. Gains 1 point of fire resistance, 1 point of cold resistance. Both of those are great at 6th level, and then it increases. Those are really great. Those are fantastic. I love this archetype every time I see it. I love the damage reduction stacking really, really well. This is kind of the one that Amiri gets changed to if you play with the Call of the Wild mod. I love this archetype. So I say great archetype. Honestly, just better in my opinion than the regular Barbarian. Like, it's kind of like Barbarian Plus to me. So I like it. You lose out on Uncanny Dodge, which I know a lot of people aren't gonna love, but still so cool. Mad Dog. You get an animal companion, which is cool. Neato. You get your rage at level 4 instead, probably to make up for the fact that you have an animal companion. You miss out on like half your rage powers to gain Pack Tactics, which is you and your War Beast gain +4 on attack rolls while flanking the same opponent. You get Ferocious Trip, so your animal companion gains Trip as a bonus feat, which is awesome. Like, what's cool is that this will work for any animal, so you don't have to pick an animal that already has Trip. You can just pick an animal that you want, and now they get Trip, which is great. Throat Cutter. Whenever War Beast succeeds at a Bull Rush, Overrun, or Trip combat maneuver against an opponent threatened by the Mad Dog Barbarian, then the Barbarian can make an attack of opportunity against them, which is really cool. You get 1 less stack of damage reduction, which is against my soul, but it's fine. You lose Uncanny Dodges, but Animal Companion Barbarian, fantastic. Animal Companions are always great. They're never a bad thing. You cannot go wrong with this one. Pack Rager. You lose a couple rage powers and you lose most damage reduction. And you gain teamwork feats, essentially. And then you get Raging Tactician, where you can grant your feats to your allies. So this is kind of like the Tactician Barbarian, the teamwork feat barbarian kind of thing. So if you're really into teamwork feat builds, this one is perfect for you. Okay, I'm not a big fan of teamwork feat builds because I find them really convoluted and complicated, but there it is. There it is. In terms of barbarian stuff relating to mythic paths, correct me if I'm wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong on this, but as far as I know, Barbarian Rage does not stack with Demon Rage, just like Bard Performance doesn't stack with the Zana Performance. So don't think that you need to be a Barbarian to do the Demonic Rage. But building a character around Rage makes it easier to handle the Rage when you get it as a demon, right? So that's kind of the trade-off, I guess. These guys are great damagers, there's great tanks. I can see some of the control in there now. You've got like the animal companion stuff going on. Instinctual Warrior can make a really good tank, actually. Because getting to stack Wisdom on top of all of your deck stuff and just make like a Dex Wisdom Barbarian, essentially a monk. You're just building a monk that can be chaotic. This is Chaos Monk. Really, really cool. Really, really cool. But yeah, man, these are the barbarian classes. We took a look at all their abilities, all of what they can do. I think Armored Hulk is a great tank one. I think Invulnerable Ranger with all of that damage reduction is just Barbarian plus. I would just take this instead of plain Barbarian. You've got your Chaos Monk. Beastkin I think is fun to play around with. I don't know how effective it is, but it's really fun to mess with. Just turning into an animal for funsies is always a good time. So it's one that I would take a look at if you're looking for something a little different. Mad Dog seems very powerful. Animal companion classes are always powerful. And then Pack Rager is the Tactician. I don't really love Tactician archetypes, but if you're into it, it's there. Anyway, I'm UnsungNPC. I really thank you for watching this video. I hope that it has helped you learn more about the Barbarian and what it can do and what it is capable of. And if you like what you saw, like, subscribe, check out other videos as they come. I'm really trying to get these class videos out, so hopefully we'll get them out quicker than I have been. If you're curious as to what I stream, you can check out my stream schedule in the description, or easier, join the Discord and you can be a part of the conversation. You'll get an update on like when I film, when I stream, why I'm not filming or streaming if that's the case. I can't post community messages yet, so that's the way to do that, is by joining the Discord, and I keep everyone up to date. Lots of us play games in there together. I do buddy streams where I play with people who want to, so feel free to join and play with me sometime. But there it is. Anyway, I'm UnsungNPC, and I will catch you guys in the next one.